What sort of benefits do you think mankind might find if you were able to find a cheap, efficient, and safe way to travel to the moon? New resources? New land to settle? The moon is a world floating above our heads. If man were to find an easy way to get there, dozens of new opportunities would be open to be better mankind. A space elevator between the moon and the Earth is a cheap and efficient way to be able to transport both goods and people to and from the moon. The practical space elevator involves running a very long cable from the surface of the moon to Earth's orbit. This is similar to the cables found on elevators in buildings today, hence the name space elevator. Once the cable is secure, a robot will be outfitted with pulleys to be able to travel a long cable to and from the moon. The robot will be outfitted with cargo bay to be able to carry both people and cargo to the moon. The basic idea of getting a space elevator in place involves launching a rocket containing the compact space elevator from the surface of the Earth into orbit. The space package will orbit the Earth until the trajectory is right and lined up with the moon. Once the trajectory is correct, a solar power propulsion engine carrying the elevator will launch towards the moon. First visual aid, Earth, moon, approximately 384,000 kilometers or 238,000 miles. So what you would do, as I said earlier, it would be launched from the Earth, it would orbit the Earth until the trajectory is right, and then it would shoot towards the moon. I get the next visual aid in moments. Okay, the space elevator will then travel toward the moon until it goes to a point known as the Lagrange point. The Lagrange point is the point between two solar bodies when the gravity of each of them balances the other out. This point, because the gravity of the Earth is much stronger than that of the moon, the Lagrange point between the Earth and the moon is very close to the moon, as opposed to being between the middle of the Earth and the moon. Once the elevator reaches the Lagrange point, it will shoot out one cable with a bar attached to it, which will go and embed itself in the surface of the moon, securely anchoring that into the cable into the moon. This is the Lagrange point, by the way. You can see it's much closer to the moon than it is to the Earth. This is the point where the gravity between these two solar masses balance each other out. So then the other end of the cable will shoot back towards Earth, and this end will have a counterweight on it and get caught in Earth's gravity, making the string tight, the cable tight. And then from there, a robot with the pulleys will be able to travel across these cables. Yeah, this is inefficient. It can travel across these cables. Instead of having to go through a difficult landing process on the lunar surface, for those who wish to go to the moon, they don't have to enter Earth's orbit, and from Earth's orbit, they rendezvous with this point at the end of the cable, and then from the elevator, they just follow the elevator to the lunar surface. From there, they'll be able to join a pleasant space elevator ride toward the lunar surface. And there are several advantages of using a space elevator as opposed to a traditional landing craft. First, it's far cheaper than a landing craft. The best estimate for a space elevator between the Earth and the Moon is about $800 million. The Apollo 11 mission alone cost $355 million in 1969, which is more than $1.7 billion today, and that was only for a one-way trip. Every trip after that, you have to pay the cost over again. With a space elevator, once the initial cost is paid, there are no other further costs. Another addition to the space elevator is that it's much safer than a landing craft because of the human error. There's no human control. You don't have to land the vehicle. It's just going across the elevator. There's no human error. So in short, space elevator is the most practical way between the moon to make the moon accessible to mankind. Elevator is easier, it's cheaper, and safer than any other method. A space elevator will help bring a new technological revolution in commercial space transportation, in which new ideas and new innovations will help us travel further than ever could in the final frontier.
Nice Star Trek reference. Have you ever read Paradise Lost?
No.